This show is part of the HeadStuff podcast network.
Hi HeadStuff listeners, I'm Hilary.
And I'm Jack.
And we're here to bring you a special New Year's treat to wrap up another amazing year of podcasts.
It really was an amazing year, wasn't it? We've compiled all of the best jaw-dropping, laugh out loud and unforgettable moments from your favourite shows.
And to be honest, there was just too many to choose from. It wasn't easy narrowing it down, but we're so thrilled to be able to share these moments with you again.
We are. It's been a wild and wonderful year at HeadStuff. We've seen so many new shows join the network, from Keep It Tight to The G-Spot with Grace Alice, The Baby Tribe, The Lovely Show, and of course, Listen, I'm Delicious with Mr. Garen Noon. We've also launched The Greatest Matter, an audio drama written and produced by our very own Connor Reid. Can I get a woohoo?
Woohoo! And of course, we've seen the Young Hot Guys go from strength to strength. It's also been a fantastic year for many of our HeadStuff staples like Agony Rants, Double Love, For Tech's Sake, I Know That Face, and of course, Fad Camp.
A fantastic bunch. So let's dive right in, shall we? First up, we've got The Lovely Show with hosts Justine Stafford and Kevin McGahern. With these two, it's hard to find just one good moment. But for this clip, we chose a time when Justine saw, in her words, not mine, can't stress that enough, the most beautiful man she'd ever laid eyes on. Take a listen.
Was there any romance
Look,
on the fringe?
there was no
Was
romance.
there any fringe minge?
There was absolutely zero, but there was the most beautiful man I've ever set eyes on. I'm not exaggerating here, who was working around our venue, right? I think this man knew or
knew
was
he was
used
hot.
to it. He did. And look, the lads are always saying to me, look, would you say something to him? Say, go for it. I was like, in what universe is that fella and me in the same stratosphere? I'm like, I'm not wasting my time. And again, when you say there about I'm still having pints, this lad was sculpted by the gods and I was sculpted by a fucking potato, or the dogs. This lad doesn't drink. You could tell by looking at him, this lad takes care of his body. His body's a temple. I'm like, we're not compatible anyway.
No,
And
your
also-
body's Temple Bar.
Yeah, pretty much. So I was like, this is never going to work out anyway. So
Mostly covered in tourist vomit. And vape shops.
oh God.
You're not going to go up to him and be like, here, do you want to go get a bowl of soup somewhere, buddy?
Also, yeah, I was like, in what universe is that lad? And they're like, no, you have to do it. I'm like, well, I'll do it on the last day. Because I'm like, I'm not going to do it in week 2, be rejected by him. I have to see his face every single day.
I would wait the last week.
Right.
Because
You still have time then.
You still have time. If it goes well, then you got a week with him. If it goes badly, it's just a week.
It's just a week.
It's just a week. But if it goes well on the last day, then you're like, I'm going home tomorrow, honey.
Yeah. Well, I waited till the last day, Kevin, and they were like, oh, and you have to say something. I was like, what am I even going to say? And I was like, oh God. And they were watching me. It was like parents watching their child get into a swimming pool for the first time. So I walked over and I had a bottle in my hand. I was like, Grant, I'll ask him, can I take this out of the area? And then I'd be like, can I take you out as well? Anyway, no, I didn't, because I didn't even get that far. Because Kevin, I went up to him and I said, am I allowed to take this bottle out? And he was like, no, you shouldn't even have it in here. And I was like, oh, right. He's like, you may throw it in the bin or just get a glass. And I was like, right, I'll get a plastic cup. How is the day going anyway? And he goes, you needn't bother trying to chat me up. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Scottish,
stunning accent.
You needn't bother trying to chat me up, love.
Yeah. Just get your glass and go away,
Cold-blooded.
Oh, yeah. No.
That was ice cold.
Oh, it cut deep. But the thing is, I always knew this was going to be the outcome. I didn't think it'd be that harsh. But
I didn't think it'd be that harsh.
He's probably been dealing with this for a month. And I was sober. He's been dealing with
people.
people.
I'm so sick of people flirting with me.
I swear to God,
Have you
this
had a picture
lad
of him?
was like, no.
I want to see how hot this guy is. How hot are we talking here? Who's his Hollywood equivalent?
Jamie Dornan.
Jamie Dornan.
If he was Jamie Dornan on holidays in Spain for 2 months because he was very tanned.
However,
well.
he should have some level of humility.
You would think that, but look, he's probably been dealing with drunk people all month. Men, women,
Were you drunk?
animals. No, I wasn't at that point.
I would have bottled him.
This next clip is from your favourite Young Hot Guys, Tony Cantwell, Shane Daniel Byrne and Killian Sunderman, who just recently celebrated 1 year of the podcast.
I kind of miss when
37,
Adele was a thing.
42.
Remember that song came out and she sang it on Jules Holland and everybody fell apart. Which one?
She sang it at the Brit Awards.
Yeah, which was for the main. They wouldn't watch Jules Holland. People like me watch Jules Holland.
I don't like Jules Holland. I feel like you get a good musical act on there, and then he gets on the piano, turns it into like a honky tonk.
I kind of love that.
I feel like he'd tickle you a lot.
Same
if you
shit
met
over
you.
and over again. He's a fucking skilled pianist.
I like he
Squeeze. Keeps playing the honky tonk.
The Mablet. Two to the metals. Like
Bon Iver! And I'm like, fuck, I've been saying Bon Iver for years. He's playing acoustic, and I'm going to join him on the honky tonk.
When you float like a cannon.
Damien Rice! All right, mate.
Hey,
just chill the
Clapton,
fuck
he wrote
out.
a song about his son who fell out of a hotel building. Anyway, here we go.
Would you know my name?
This
I think it's the only thing you can play while looking up and not looking down. And I'm like, if that was me, I'd be like, say hello and to see.
The marvelous Tony Cantwell.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm sure we've all been waiting for this one. I know I have. It wasn't too hard to find the best clip for our next podcaster, as he recently just joined the network and his show has been nothing but a massive hit.
Here's Garen chatting to his childhood hero, the legend that is Pat Short.
But you'll never guess what came out when we started. Technology.
Yeah.
A fax machine. And people joke about it now. Yeah, it meant we could get a contract through.
Yeah.
And we could get confirmation and stuff and all that kind of
Oh,
thing.
right, okay.
And it actually made it really changed things for us. Confirmation of gigs, all that kind of stuff. People would fax it through to you and you'd fax it back to them, and that was how you did business.
Right, okay.
And it meant that you didn't have to be in Dublin for whatever reason with an agent and an office. We could be our own agents and that kind of thing. And from there internet came on maybe in the next 10 years after that.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people, I heard a program on the radio the other day and they were saying, I don't know anyone uses a fax machine anymore. They're becoming more popular now again.
Well, my doctor faxes off my prescription. So
and
that's...
solicitors use it.
Yeah.
Because you can't hack a fax machine.
Right, okay.
So a friend of mine's solicitor says all documents are now faxed.
I'm going to start sending all my dick pics via fax.
Make sure they don't get caught in the machine.
Babe, if you want this to get heated, get yourself a fax machine. I don't use much ink, don't worry.
Pictures of Dick Spring and pictures of Dick Van Dyke. I have that collection as well. My dick pics.
The next treat that we have in store for you comes from Grace Alice on her podcast, The G-Spot, a show with no topic off limits. This clip comes from Grace's interview with Padraig Wilson McCarthy. And listen out for me laughing in the background.
Interesting, do you know, you said their confidence is sexy, which I agree with. And there is a difference between arrogance and confidence, you know?
No, without a doubt.
And he's actually worried that she'll find his insecurity unattractive.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because on one hand, insecurity is like vulnerability.
Yeah.
And that's not unattractive.
No.
We all have insecurities.
Without a doubt.
But I think when people draw attention to them, I had an experience once, sorry, I shouldn't. He'll never listen to this, it's fine. It was a casual encounter and sorry. So he was unbuttoning his pants, so we're really getting into it, right? Yeah. No erotic writing here now, I'm going to get straight to it. And like took out his penis, right? And for me, that's quite an intimate moment. It's the first time you're undressing. Yeah. And he just took it out and he goes, it's no 7-incher.
And you said, you better put it away.
And I was like,
then I don't want it.
I am very rarely speechless.
Yeah.
I was like, I have no idea what to say. And I don't know.
But that was that an instant turn off, really?
For me, yes.
Yeah, I get that.
He was a nice guy and he was very attractive and I hope he's doing great.
Yeah.
But that was like, if I took out my boobs, I was like, there are no double G's.
Yeah, totally get
And it's kind of like, I just like it was.
It does the same thing. It does the same thing. Just use it in the correct way.
I didn't give a shit. Yeah. I really didn't. I mean that. Like, I was like, oh.
I know.
Like, and it was a perfectly normal size as well.
Men always look at things bigger is better.
Absolutely.
But it's not the case.
No,
do you know what I mean?
No.
Next up, we've got the Baby Tribe with Afif and Anne.
Afif is a neonatologist, while Anne, who is also his wife, is an anesthesiologist.
That was a perfect pronunciation.
I'm not going to lie, I have the phonetic spelling in front of me. They're very smart people.
There was one method of pain relief that I don't think that you have mentioned, or maybe a method to cope with the sensations of labour that I had personal experience with when I was a medical student.
Oh God, go on.
So this is back in the day, several years ago. I won't mention the hospital, but it was during my obstetric rotation, and I was in with a mother that was labouring. However, the cubicle next door, there was a mother that every time she had a contraction, she dealt with it by screaming. So she used to scream and scream and scream and scream to help manage the pain, which you've alluded to earlier. As
everybody does it. There's a cultural, contextual, individual, experience.
However,
absolutely.
The partner was also wailing at the same time as she was, like almost sometimes more intensely than she was.
Okay.
And the midwives were going,
what's going on in the room?
So they sent a poor student midwife into the cubicle next door to check on the couple and make sure everything's okay. Well, I tell you, she walked in and she walked out. I have never seen somebody as pale walking out of a place. Do you know what the situation was?
What?
She had a rope.
Oh, God.
Tied around your man's nether regions.
No, that's not real.
And every time she had a contraction, she yanked as hard as possible.
You're making it up.
I am not making this up.
Are you serious?
I know this sounds like a made-up thing.
It does.
I am not making this up. So every time she had a contraction, she yanked.
Yeah.
So in that particular mother's culture, the men have to feel and experience.
No, I've never heard of that now.
I'm not lying. This definitely happened, and this.
No.
Yep.
I'm going to Google it right now. I'm going to prove it.
Go right ahead.
Oh my God, it is a thing.
I'm telling you, it is a thing. Yep.
A particular subculture within a particular country. Labouring women held onto a string that was tied to her husband's testicles. With each painful contraction, she would give the string a yank so the man could share the burden. Hats off to those women. How did they get them in to do that?
I am not advocating
Genius.
that this should be introduced.
I would like to do an RCT on this in the Rotunda. Volunteers, I'd like you to come in. I don't know how we blind for it though. How would we blind that?
The three men that are currently listening to this episode are cursing us right, left and centre.
That's it.
And now it's Fad Camp, a show about the ridiculousness of diet culture, hosted by comedian Grace Mulvey and TV and film writer Conor Dowling. This clip is from their episode on the bizarre world of celebrity morning routines. It's safe to say that I would literally never wake up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym.
Me too.
Do you want to hear what Mr. Terry Crews does?
Please.
This was at the time of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so like quite like, height of fame. But, he was also in like Everybody Hates Chris. He was in White Chicks.
Like more importantly, he was in White Chicks.
Vanessa Carlton, anybody?
Yeah. 1,000 miles.
Come on. You gotta pay respect where it's due, people. Come on. So, my man wakes up at 4:45 a.m.
Like, fuck off. Like, excuse my language.
Out of town. Get out of my face with that shit right now. Who do you think you are? I mean, okay, you're in White Chicks, but fuck off.
Yeah.
This bro has a vibrating alarm that vibrates his pillow. Did you know that was a thing?
No.
Like, I'm just picturing, he just shoved his phone under his pillow. But, like, is his pillow plugged in?
Also, can I just say, a vibrating pillow, like, I'm like, can be used for other things.
Oh,
like,
yes.
I'm like, he's sitting on a washing machine.
Giddy up is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
He then says he has in his words, very, very complex vitamin routine.
Oh,
sorry, vitamin for our American listeners. Info online, I tried to find out what exactly he takes, but it just says some combination of BCAAs, branched chain amino acids, which a lot of people who work out a lot take them, usually in water. But he says he takes them 3 times a day, or whatever his regime is. He takes them 3 times a day, but at 4:40 a.m. he's in the kitchen and he's laying out all of his vitamins in baggies to get him through the day. He then gets to the gym and listens to an audiobook while he works out.
Okay.
So he doesn't go into specifics on what he does in the gym, but he breaks down each day of the week, you know, by body part,
Yeah.
like Monday's leg day and so on. Great. So I just need to say, right, I went to a gym recently, okay?
Yeah.
I'm
Whoa.
putting it out there.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know.
This is a safe space.
Yeah.
Tell us what happened.
And I was trying to book in for my next session, right? Because it's kind of
Yeah.
like one of these things where they do like classes and stuff like that. And the guy says to me, I'm trying to book my next class. The guy says to me, "Oh, so if you want to come tomorrow, we have some 6 a.m. slots. And if you want to come like next Friday or something, we've got some 4 p.m. slots." Grace, I had to stop myself from laughing in the man's face.
6 a.m.
6 a.m. Grace,
What am I, Terry Crews? No.
I'm going to the gym at 6 a.m. to feel good. I don't like my life.
Yeah.
So let me introduce you to our tech pod for tech's sake.
It was so interesting to listen and learn from all of the professionals that they had on this year.
Here's Elaine and Jenny and their possibly untrusty friend, AI.
Someone sent me this, it's an obituary that was apparently written by a bot. Now, I am going to say, I think this is too good. The comedy of this is too good to be AI generated. So
Yeah.
if this is a bot, it's amazing. And if it's some genius pretending to be a bot, equally amazing. Because every single line of this is pure comedy gold. So I'm going to read it out for everyone. Brenda Tent retired from living at the age of old, surrounded by family and natural causes. A librarian from birth, Brenda was an avid collector of dust. She had a sweetheart and married her high school. She loved having hobbies and helping her sons to be disadvantaged youths. She had no horses, but thought she did.
That's my favourite.
The church gave her a choir because she sang like bird and looked like bird, and Brenda was a bird. She owed us so many poems. The funeral will be held in 1977 at Heaven. In lieu of flowers, send Brenda more life.
Send Brenda more life.
Who does she owe poems to? Like so many of the other lines I can see where the AI got like the idea.
Disadvantaged
the notion,
youths and stuff and
she
natural
worked with
causes.
disadvantaged youths. But she owed us so many poems.
She didn't have a horse, but she thought she
She
did.
thought she had horses. It's so good. Jenny's crying.
Brenda was a bird.
She was a bird. She sang like bird. She looked like bird. She actually was a bird. AI is good, actually. See, like, look how happy you are.
I'm so happy. It's the new version of robots being stupid. Like, it's my favourite.
You can now turn to that whenever you're having a bad day.
I can. It's just a reminder that, like, wow, you're really, really, really not sentient. You know? If anyone's in doubt that it just spits out words, turn to that. Please give Brenda more life. Oh, please give me more life. I'm dying.
Next up, we're giving the floor to HeadStuff's very own Connor Reid.
Take a listen to the trailer from his new podcast, The Greatest Matter.
The Greatest Matter, a Victorian Gothic crime tale. A man gruesomely murdered in Dublin.
Oh, Jesus!
Mother of God. What the hell happened?
Blood everywhere.
Ah, no, Anya, look away. This isn't something for a woman to see.
Is he dead, Sean?
A renowned Italian criminologist.
And it is with the utmost pleasure that I introduce our esteemed speaker, Professor Cesare Lombroso, doctor, linguist, man of letters,
And two women intent on solving the crime, no matter the cost.
I mean, should we just stop this? All of this? Is it getting too much? I don't know.
Francis, look where we are. Several people are dead.
A murder with disturbing connections to the occult is being covered up.
Take a seat here in our seance circle.
I can feel something. Yes.
There's one thing.
Yes, Eve is coming.
Here is some human life that is not as the common directions.
And a powerful military commander is running a sinister investigation.
We need to find the murderer, and we need to make sure this was the work of a madman acting alone.
And the identity of the murderer may have profound implications for the very nature of life and death.
Next up is Double Love, a podcast all about the sensational 1980s book series Sweet Valley High, hosted by Anna and Karen.
This is a part in which, well, evil twin meets evil twin.
rift between the twins. And Norva says, she played Liz tonight, but she can't wait for the ultimate challenge, being Jessica.
What? Yeah, she says Todd's cute, but I like blonde guys. And Margot's like, you can't be Jessica. I'm Jessica. It's like, why do you get to be Jessica? And Margot shrugs. And she's like, because I was Elizabeth last year. Now it's your turn. Like, and this is such like sisterly bickering. It's so funny.
Oh my God, it's amazing. Because Nora's like, but that's why you should be Liz, because you've got more experience being her. Like, I thought you'd become Liz permanently. And Margot's like, no way. That's one of the reasons it didn't work out. I'm not a convincing Liz. I mean, you actually were, worryingly. Then she says, look, Nora, I'm too much of a partier to be that goody two-shoes. She doesn't know how to have fun. She doesn't stay out late. And she's been dating Honey Boy forever.
It's amazing.
It gets better because Nora's like, I thought you liked Todd. Margot shrugs. I do, but not for months and months. Did you know that in all this time, Todd has never even managed to get Elizabeth out of her clothes? It's positively sick.
So good. Oh my God. It's incredible. But yeah, Nora is still pleading her case and she's like, well, I'm sure you could convince her too.
I bet you could.
Next, we are headed over to the queens of Irish comedy, Emma Doran and Deirdre O'Kane, on their podcast that just released this year, Keep It Tight.
As we well know, Deirdre and Emma are feminist icons. Take a listen.
Like, my dad didn't really know how to do dinners. He didn't know how to clean the gaff.
Oh, no man knew how to cook it.
Us up from
no
school.
man of that generation cooked a dinner.
No.
Ever.
But no one was asking
Ever.
them.
No.
My mom's bracket of people, I feel for them so badly because
I
they
know,
made
I
them
do too.
work, but they didn't give them any childcare. They gave them nothing. And then what did they do with them? They got them on programs like How to Look 10 Years Younger.
Yeah.
Fucking How to Look Good Naked.
And that's why you look wrecked, Breda. And
I'm exhausted.
Of course I look wrecked. I'm fucking working. I'm cleaning the house. I'm raising the kids. I'm making the dinner, and I'm working. Of course I look wrecked.
I'm not getting equal
do you know
pay.
what we'll do for
I've
you?
no
Now we'll
childcare.
burn the face off you. That's what we'll do.
We'll
give you
smash your
we'll give
teeth
you a
in.
few veneers and we get your hair done, and you'll fucking tell the world you're grand.
And we're going to whack a pencil skirt on you. And she's standing there going, when am I going to wear this pencil skirt? When you're going out to woo your fella. That's when you're going to wear it.
When does a woman wear a pencil skirt? Very rarely. What
are you wearing a pencil skirt? You can't move.
You can't move.
She has to clean the jacks before she leaves the house.
Yeah.
Like,
that's when the tracksuits came in.
Oh, somebody said to me the other day, she said, when I'm leaving the house, I'm constantly mopping my way out of the house.
Was that what made you do your little reel about doing jobs? Because that was hilarious.
Yeah, but that's what she said to me. She can't leave her house without mopping her way out of the fucking house. There's no
mopping her way out.
She's
getting
mopping
one
the floor.
more job done before she goes.
She's getting the floor. She's washing the floor so that can dry, and there'll be nobody in the house. There'll be no footprints.
Yeah, but isn't it great that we've come a distance now, where we are reaching a point where we're all going, will you stop the light?
Yeah,
enough now, lads.
Next, we have a clip for you from Agony Rants, hosted by comedian Grode Farley and Eurovision winner Niamh Kavanagh.
As a huge Eurovision fan, that's very, very exciting for me. Not only do they give invaluable advice to listeners, but they're also absolutely hilarious.
Dear Niamh and Garrod, we have a follow-up.
Excellent.
I wrote to you before Christmas because I was dating a guy and things were great. But he hadn't introduced me to his family and I thought it was so weird.
Mm-hmm.
I was concerned about this because my family are very involved in our lives. Now, that sounds like a nightmare. But anyway. We see them all the time and I know he feels very close to them. As usual, your advice was on point and caring.
Oh,
so
that must be me then.
Yeah, that was you. So I bit the bullet that day that your advice episode dropped, and he seemed very annoyed at me that I was bringing this up. Because you remember, like, he was a bit cagey about
how to broach it. Yeah.
And we had an argument, but I was happy enough to have it.
Oh, good on you.
That's like me. I love a row.
Yeah, but actually it's good. You kind of have to accept that sometimes rows happen and actually... understanding that this has to happen and then it's okay to have it, then that's good, isn't it? Yeah. Changes how you are in it.
You know, you throw the deep fat fryer. And
Did you take the oil out first?
I love it. I love a round, Niamh.
I know, but throwing the deep fat fryer, there's a lot of cleanup.
Then I employed all of the tactics you mentioned. I told him he didn't need to be ashamed or fearful of me meeting them. as it is him that I love.
Oh my God.
Oh, Ray.
Imagine we said that.
This is beautiful. Did we say that?
We must have. Well, that's what he heard.
I wouldn't say that now. I think I've a harder edge than I did then. Sell him on, Ray. Sell him on. He was so grateful. We had a long chat about it, and he said he just isn't that close to them. They grate on him. He introduced me to them, and I was so surprised because he really is a different person around them. They really bring out the worst in him. This is what I think is the problem. Ray's opened Pandora's box here.
Yes, he has.
So now he's going to have to keep meeting them.
I know.
It was better when it was better. It was that's it. Sometimes people don't know how lucky they have it. I'm sorry. If your partner
doesn't get on with
his family and doesn't want to introduce you to the in-laws, take the win.
Don't listen to him, Ray. Don't listen to him.
But I have met them twice now, and my boyfriend has said that he feels very relieved that he can talk to me about them.
Well, that gives him a venting area. That's not a bad thing.
I bet they had absolutely amazing riding after this. Oh, we're so connected. We're so connected.
I know. I love
Oh,
that.
yeah.
A little bit of makeup sex.
We moved in together in January, and we really are like two pigs in a pod. Two pigs in a pod. I think you're mixing your metaphors.
And lastly, but certainly not least, we have a clip from a HeadStuff staple, I Know That Face, our HeadStuff film podcast. Take a listen to host Stephen and Andrew.
In the scene with Das Malchin where Aaron Eckhart's interrogating him and Batman stops him from shooting him, and he's like, "You would leave a man's life to chance." It's like, okay, maybe the Batman voice is crap.
It's I can never get over that.
Yeah.
The way they kind of
he's just recovering from laryngitis.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
How rude of
What
me.
if in the
He's
third
just speaking
movie,
in his regular Welsh accent?
the third movie, he like coughs up some phlegm. He's like, finally.
Oh, thank God. And his voice is really high. Where's the trigger?
Hello. He's like, Mrs. Doubtfire.
I would watch that. Overdub so quickly.
But the thing that I thought was really sick, Racha, was the reimagining of like how Two-Face got his name. That he was originally like an IA investigator. You know, that whole thing where he's like, what did they used to call me when I was in Internal Affairs? And James Gordon's like, Harvey. And he's like, say it. And he's like, Two-Face. And you're like, that's really good. But then there's also like the bit where Harvey Dent's interrogating someone on the stand and they like pull a gun on him, but it malfunctions, and he's like, that's why you should always buy American. And you're like, that's insane.
It's a huge take to make while your life has just suddenly been threatened.
Yeah, and then there's the bit with the commissioner before James Gordon gets poisoned, and his whiskey was poisoned, and James Gordon realizes, he's like, no, don't drink it. And then after he's on the ground, it cuts back to the glass and there's like a comically large amount of smoke coming out of it, like he just drank lava. Stuff like that. But what do you think of Despouchin in this?
I hadn't seen this movie in a couple of years, so I was like, I honestly thought he had a bigger role in at least in that one specific scene. But I think Aaron Eckhart is sort of overplaying it a bit, whereas Das Malchin is kind of like maybe the hidden reserve in that scene, you know?
That's a good take.
Yeah, because Aaron Eckhart's like, you tell me who did it, tell me who did it, and Das Malchin is just there kind of smiling. He just lets his face do the talking. And I think even though he only has one line, it's like, he's like, I don't know, you know, the whole shriek giggle thing. I think it's really good. And he's so sweaty.
He's a very wet man. There's only one way to describe him.
He's moist.
That's moistian. It's the only way to describe him. It is.
Well, HeadStuff listeners, that was quite the year. I mean, they were just some hilarious clips.
And a huge thank you from myself and Jack, but also from all of the team at HeadStuff here, the producers and the podcasters, for listening throughout the year. It means so much.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And I mean, if you liked 2024, 2025 is going to be even better.
We have some really exciting things planned for 2025.
We've some good stuff cooking here in the studios.
Absolutely.
Wishing you all the best. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
This show is part of the HeadStuff Podcast Network, a hub for the creative and the curious. Shows are produced in association with HeadStuff and the Podcast Studios Dublin. Find out more or become a member at headstuffpodcasts.com.
Bye.